Hi, this is Kimberly. I hope you all had a very nice Thanksgiving. I know I did. There were no instances, and damn it, I mean incidents. And people generally left me and Mr. Kimberley alone, and that's all we wanted. So yeah, it was good. Thanks. How was yours? I'm still excavating prior Ashleigh Banfield clips, whereupon she was angrily complaining and going off on a nightly basis about Chris Watts. She's one of us. Everything shown in today's video is the last that I can find from August 2018. Don't worry, there's plenty more after that. She thoroughly went off for a number of weeks on Chris Watts, so I do have several more in my vault. And then, boom, CNN suddenly let her go for some unknown reason. For the life of me, I can't figure out why. Her ratings were phenomenal. Doesn't matter now because I found her over on News Nation now because of the whole Brian Laundrie, dirty laundry fiasco bullshit case. This is where I also discovered Brian Enton, a real-life investigative journalist. That just... it's so hard to find these days, and News Nation now gives our Ashleigh room to rant and express her opinion, just as she should. Don't be shutting her up. God damn it. Oh, I'm sorry. I know those of you that get upset when I say that. I truly am not taking the Lord's name in vain. I am asking God to damn whatever I'm talking about. That's all. I swear, I have Tourette's. I have a cousin with Tourette's. I really do. I just feel the need sometimes to just spit out a swear word. I've been watching Tyler's Tarot too much. He does that. He'll be talking and he'll go, bitch, bitch, bitch. And then he starts apologizing. I've been going around doing that now. I'm sure you skeptics are cringing because I have watched a tarot video or a tarot channel. Blame Danielle, it's her fault from when I went over to her house. But I just found out there's a name for people like me. Dysrationalia, that's what it is, yeah. It's defined as the inability to think and behave rationally despite adequate intelligence. You would think that instances of proven psychic fraud over the years would weaken the credibility of psychic claims, but no. You know, when there have been secret government experiments on psychic spying, this makes me optimistic that the case for psychic functioning has been scientifically proven. Am I right? Do any of you watch psychic Reverend Donna Serafina? She did a couple of videos now on Brian Laundrie, but she did one about 3 weeks ago on his parents. I just found it the other night, and I was just listening intently. She seemed to be kind of accurate. No, make that plausible. In explaining how shit went down, or may have gone down. When Baldo got home, showed the fuck up at the house without his beautiful, loving fiancé. Since we know nothing, no one tells us anything. She gives a very, sounds reasonable to me, explanation. And the Reverend instructs everyone, do not write to her and send hate mail. She's only conveying what Spirit is telling her. Okay? It's a decent video, but I'll warn you, there is snoring in the background. Yes, snoring. I had my headphones on and kept checking my computer and opening every single fucking tab I had open. It was pissing me off. There's usually about 30 tabs I have open, so it took me a while before I finally muted her tab, and I'm like, goddamn, it was fucking her. Now, I don't know if she has one of those pug dogs or if it was her husband or what the fuck was going on over there at her house. I could just picture her in bed, talking into her phone as someone or something was sleeping next to her. It started off as the occasional snore, and then it got slowly more constant and louder. It was pissing me the fuck off because it started to drown her out and she was just casually goes on like it's nothing. Being all blasé and shit. And did she not want to punch him in the fucking face or bludgeon him in his sleep or anything? It was a little bit funny at times when it wasn't pissing me the fuck off. Then she abruptly ended the video about the time the incessant snorer reached REM sleep, which was good because you couldn't fucking hear her anymore anyway. But I'm sorry about my swearing for those of you that have reprimanded me again about my dirty mouth. But I promise you, I am simultaneously the nicest and meanest and most vulgarest person you'll ever meet. But you'll still love me. You gotta love me, right? Please? I have PTSD. I thought we could try something fun and new. You know, my husband used to get all excited and shit when I would say that. About trying something fun and new, and now he cringes and goes to the next room. Would you like me to give a reaction video to one of your favorite YouTubers that you like to watch? And you can only give me one video. Don't just give me their name. I'm not going to sit there and watch their channel all damn day. Give me one video that stands out to you. I'll give you my initial impression. Would that be fun? Let me know in the comments. Alright, I'm going to go now and let you watch these oldies but goodies again. Remember, these are all from August 2018. I will have some more for you very soon from September 2018. And there's some from September, October, and I think that's when Ashleigh Banfield got canned. I don't know if we had November 2018 or what. I hope you have had a nice Thanksgiving and Thanksgiving week and Thanksgiving weekend and all that stuff and shit. And then, you know, get all rested up because you know the next month will be bloody hell. Feel like been pulled through the hedges backwards, as my mom would say. Anyway, much love and peace. Thank you for listening.
All right, everyone, bear with me and buckle up. I'm going to lay this out as best I can, but stay with me. We're talking about a 12-hour framework. It is not a lot of time, just 12 hours. It starts at 1:48 in the morning on a Monday morning when Shanann Watts is dropped off. At 5:27 a.m., we know for a fact on video, Chris Watts' truck backs into the driveway and is seen shortly afterwards leaving. And at 1:40 p.m., we know the first officer is dispatched and this story begins to unravel. So if you do that math, 1:48 a.m. to 1:40 p.m., it is not even 12 full hours. And filling in the blanks in between starts to sound, frankly, remarkable. First, let's go to when Shanann Watts' friend Nicole starts calling in the morning and can't reach her friend. Calls so often she decides to go over. And when she gets there, she sees in the garage, Nicole sees her friend's car, and unfortunately, it's in the garage with car seats still affixed, which means those children and Shanann have likely not left that house. So she tries the front door. There's no answer, and the door is locked from the inside, but not with one of those deadbolts. It's latched with a hook, like those hotel latches from the inside. And we went and looked at the videos of that door, and look what we saw beneath that latch. Zoom in, and there's a piece of paper taped to the door. It takes a lot of clarity to read what the piece of paper says. But the paper says, "Lock me." Maybe this is just a coincidence. Something to tell everybody to lock the door from the inside, maybe at night when you sleep. But you cannot lock me from the outside. You can only lock me with that latch from the inside. So this was not Shanann Watts locking that door and then dying. More than likely, it was someone else. Let me carry on with the timeline. Now this friend of Nicole's is so worried that that latch won't let her open the door more than a couple of inches. She calls Chris, of course. Her worry is that her pregnant friend is inside, possibly fainted, passed out. The children may be at risk. Chris, come home, she says. The answer is unclear. But whatever his answer, she's now calling the police. And Officer Coonrod is dispatched at approximately 1:40 p.m. When Officer Coonrod gets to that front door, and he can't get in either, he notices something on the garage that would let him get in right away. It's the garage door opener. It's the electronic keypad. We all have them. You put in your code, and instantly you can get into that house. Well, what a great idea. He calls Chris on his cell phone and says, tell me the code. I have to get in. It's a welfare check on your wife. What do you think Chris's answer was to Officer Coonrod? That isn't working. That keypad isn't working. But I'll be there soon enough. I'll be there in about 5 minutes. Now put yourself inside the mind of Chris Watts. He's driving towards the scene that he knows all too well. He's driving approximately 12 hours later, right back up that driveway that he had just backed out of in the dark of night, with 3 bodies in the car, by his admission in the affidavit. When he begins to speak with Officer Coonrod in the house, he tells that officer a couple of interesting facts. That he got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning, had a conversation with Shanann. Says Shanann arrived home from a trip around 2 a.m. and he woke up at 5 a.m. and began talking to Shanann about marital separation. And what do you suppose happened after that? He said he informed her he wanted to initiate the separation. 5 o'clock in the morning. That's easy to remember, because a lot of people wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. But then Coonrod asks for a little backup, and he asks Detective Baumhover to come on over and help him with this investigation. And on the scene, Detective Baumhover asks Chris, talk me through this period of time when you last saw your wife, Shanann. And Chris said, Shanann arrived home from the airport at approximately 1:48 a.m. Note that time, it's very accurate. 1:48 a.m. My wife comes in the door. 1:48, not somewhere around 2 a.m. or I don't know, after 1 o'clock in the morning. 1:48 a.m. He seems to know the time exactly. And then he says something even more curious. He says at approximately 4 a.m., he informed Shanann he wanted to go through with the separation, and they were both upset and crying. Wait a minute, 4 a.m.? I thought you said you woke up at 5 a.m. You told Officer Coonrod you woke up at 5 a.m. So how'd you have a conversation with her at 4 a.m.? All of this is starting to sound pretty curious, right? And you can imagine these cops are pretty wise to these strange little stories he's telling them on the scene. In any case, he told these police officers one thing that was very consistent. He told them what time he backed his car up to load up his tools and head off to work. Again, not, I don't know, around 5 o'clock or 5:30 in the morning. He told them a specific time. He told Coonrod 5:27 a.m. And he told Baumhover 5:27 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Mark Saltzman, you're a technology expert. Explain to me how Alexa just might be the linchpin and the actual witness to what really happened in the house that night.
So after you say the wake word, which is her name, then this device, this Amazon Echo or other similar device, records everything you ask her or tell her, and it saves it in the cloud on Amazon's servers. Now you, as an Amazon Echo owner, can go in and delete that data if you want. You can do it on the app or you can do it on the website. but it's all kept because it helps make the experience better for the customer. As you can hear there with the little girls talking to it, they're not quite as articulate, but Alexa may understand these girls over time through artificial intelligence, and they start customizing it. Once you delete it all, you start from scratch as if you bought this device out of the house. So the authorities could...
could go back to those files and get everything that they've been saying to Alexa over the months or years. It's all there in the files unless you're clever enough to go in and delete it, which, of course, if the police do, they would see that it were recently deleted. More important to the fact, though, here, what's germane to this case is you have to wake Alexa up in order for her to begin the recording. But can I also ask you this? Because I have one of these devices. Sometimes I say things that aren't Alexa, and she starts recording. There are a lot of wake-up triggers for Alexa that sound sort of like Alexa and sometimes nothing like Alexa.
Yeah, so that's true. Sometimes the device, this smart speaker or a smart screen, thinks it hears the wake word and it starts recording. Once it realizes you don't want her, then she shuts it back down again. And if you look back in that log, that file log, it will say something like unknown request because you just let it go. You didn't mean to call her up. But if the authorities did want to listen to what happened that night or in the days leading up to it, providing that the husband, the wife, or the kids said her name first, they will know 4 things. When something was said, because it's all stamped by time. What device was used and the location, because they may have more than one. It may be a living room Alexa or a bedroom Alexa. It'll know what was asked, and it'll also know what was said and who asked, because it also keeps a voice recording. So it could be the husband or the wife or the kids.
When you're not a millionaire, I mean, this family was not making as much money as they needed to make to live the lifestyle they were making. If I went through some of the actual numbers, you'd be alarmed, in fact. The monthly expenses alone were up to $5,000, but the monthly net income for this family at one point was reported at about $4,900, leaving behind about $11 every month. So that in a bankruptcy filing tells you are spending beyond your means. I want to just show you, if I can, what we've discovered from Chris Watts's paycheck. Now, albeit this is a paycheck from 2015, and it was filed because of a bankruptcy document, but what's really curious is in the small print. Child life insurance, $1.20 per check. That apparently was for Bella because Cece wasn't born yet. Spousal life insurance for about $3 per check, and biweekly earnings of about $2,400. So somewhere around $5,000 was what he was making. And then Shanann was working part-time back then, not quite 40 hours a week, but about $18 an hour. So you can imagine when you see major purchases that were being made just months before, just 6 months before a bankruptcy was filed. They have a home at $400,000, and they have a brand new Ford Explorer at about $600 a month. So these are very, very tight times for a family, possibly living beyond their means. But did anybody suspect anything, Jenna, at this point about the financial situation? Or is it just something that seems like it's 3 years ago?
Well, no, I mean, there are definitely some of the finances, of course, will always play into a possible motive. And you have definitely a bankruptcy that was as of June 2015 that was reported, as well as the life insurance. And so how that factors into a possible motive is still being determined.
Yeah, I want to show, if I can, some pictures. There's, you know, sometimes there are small details that might go unreported, might go undiscussed in light of the larger story, but there was actually one more little member of the Watts family left behind in that home. It was a member of the Watts family that was listed on a financial document at one point for $5. It was their family dog, and we've come to know that that family dog was named Dieter. We saw that family dog in a lot of the different Facebook posts, and this one in particular, now in retrospect from Shanann Watts' Facebook page, is particularly distressful.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Peter.
Give him kisses. Say happy birthday.
Birthday, birthday.
He's giving you kisses. You want to give him a kiss?
Yeah.
Is he going to give you kisses?
I gotta kiss you.
Give him kisses. Give kisses to Peter.
Thank you so much for coming out here with me, Christopher. I am having a wonderful time. You mean a lot to me, and I'm glad that you're having a blast. I am so out of breath.
Was this telling piece of information in the legal filings at the time that Chris Watts was arrested, and it's all about a mistress, that he'd been having a protracted affair with another woman. Has she surfaced? Do we know anything about how she factors into this picture?
Ashleigh, out here in Colorado, the rumors are just swirling around about this mistress, but the police are being extremely tight-lipped. We don't know a thing about her other than the belief that she is a co-worker of the father.
And I know that there is a name on the witness list of a co-worker who is also a woman. I know that has probably lent to a lot of rumors. Talia Cheryln, you're on the ground out there. You went to this person's home. You took a look around. What did you see?
Yeah, that's right, Ashleigh. So this person is listed on an official document in relation to this investigation. I paid a visit to their home. No one answered the door. There was a car parked on a side street nearby, but again, no one answered the door. It was a pretty nice, one-story home. It seemed like, it was just a very nice home, but no one answered the door, basically.
So, James Galliano, I want you to take a look at something that our team noticed in many of the videos that we've been scouring for clues on this case. And I don't know if it's a huge clue. I don't know if it'll play into this story. I don't know if it'll play into a trial. But it didn't go unnoticed by people on social media as well. In those videos, the day after this family went missing, he's not wearing his wedding ring. But in many of the other videos, he is. Some of the videos from just walking around the house, he's wearing his wedding ring. Some of the videos, he's not. And I understand if he's an oil worker, maybe he wouldn't. But here he is in other days, wearing his wedding ring, playing with the kids, messing with their hair. In some of the family portraits, he's wearing his wedding ring. He's an oil worker, so perhaps he just doesn't. But it wasn't something that went unnoticed. Is that something investigators would notice as well?
Absolutely. Investigators are looking for anomalies. They're looking for things that are different. And what you have to do is you have to establish a baseline. You have to say, this is the way that the individual acted and comported himself throughout the first few years of their marriage. And now, all of a sudden, he's doing different things. And if it was his custom to wear a ring, if it was his custom to do certain things or not do certain things, those are absolutely something, Ashleigh, that investigators want to take notice of.
Jack Ford, what about prosecutors? Do they look at that and say, that's something I'm bringing up in court?
Sure, especially, Ashleigh, if the defense here, if it goes to trial, the defense is what it seems to be, which is him saying he comes across his wife strangling the two daughters, and in a fit of rage, he reacts and he strangles her. You're going to, as a prosecutor, point to things to be able to say to the jury, look, that's just not consistent. That's not what he would be doing if indeed this horrible tragedy unfolded in front of him. And you'd say, for instance, look, the ring is gone, and you know that he's involved in a relationship with somebody else, and maybe now he thinks he's free to engage in that relationship. So you're going to look to find anything that you can that, and as James said, anything that you can that seems inconsistent with what he's saying, and try to kick holes in everything that the defense is offering up as his version of what happened.
There was something else about that video. We're zeroing in right there on the accused's hands for the wedding ring. But there was something about the demeanor. We've all made light of the fact that how could a man who had just witnessed all of this be so cavalier with the cameras? And it wasn't just one interview. It was several different television stations who showed up. He was all too willing to join TV stations and beg for us all to help him find his missing family.